account. And graciously after the game, Chris Chester, although, with a hint of not sure what went on out there, did say that it was their own discipline that cost them. And you can't, when it's that big a penalty count one way, you normally would find they're doing something that particular referee doesn't like, and they're not fixing it up. Individually, Joe Greenwood with a try in 125 metres, Ryan Sutton off the bench with 126 metres, John Bateman, who, although I felt he wasn't very effective in this game, still managed 113 metres. For the losing Trin side, Tom Johnston with a try, 204 metres, 2 clean breaks, Bill Tupu with a try and 115 metres, and Tyler Randall with 43 tackles. So he did work hard. Yep. I forgot he was even on the pitch. So that's how little I thought he did, but I was watching it a different way this game, quite obviously. Okay, that is that one done. On to the second game, which was Friday night's TV game. This one finished Hull FC 8, Castleford 28 in front of 10,570. Gareth Hewer puffed and panted his way around the pitch.
He did look knackered. I watched a bit of this, and he just felt for him. He just felt like he's like, I wish we had more refs. I don't want to be doing this.
This is why we used to send him to the south of France so often, for keep his conditioning up. This year he's not been on enough trips to keep it up. It was 18-0 at half-time, and I think we all thought the writing was on the wall at that stage, so a little bit of credit to Hull FC for their second half. Let's see if any credit was given by the listeners, though, Dom.
Tom Andrews, Tom_HullKR, HKR says, so Hull FC equalled their longest losing streak in Super League. Last time they happened, they became the Great Hull Thunder Sharks. I'd say West Wales should watch out. West Hull Bin Raiders coming soon.
He doesn't just stick the knife in, he makes sure he twists it too, doesn't he, does Tom? Joshua's granddad said, when the rugby gods are against you, they sure hate you. Hence, Ford's looked first and Castleford's lucky first and third try. Thank God for video referee after Tosser Hewitt gifting Watts a try from the most offside position of the year. A better effort by a still depleted side. 3FC who never threw in the towel. Not sure where the next win will come from, but looking for that desire and effort for the next 3 games.
Paul O'Brien, POB 1976, says, a good win for Castleford and a massive improvement from Hull after last week's performance. Hard to get worse, though. Castleford will want to improve as they should and could have scored more points.
Phil Nadin said, to be fair, just happy they kept it under 30 points. FC played with more fire in the belly, but it still isn't good enough, though. I do think they've had enough. Let's just finish now.
Well, there's another, 4 or 5 games left?
3 games, yeah.
Alan Conley, 87.
3 games for Hull, 5 for Wigan. Hopefully not 4 for Leeds from your perspective.
We'll go to that later. A scrappy win for Cass in a game where they were unlikely to get any credit whether they won by 20, 40 or 60. Hull were much improved defensively but were devoid of any real attacking ability. McShane again showed why he has to be a contender for Man of Steel, and Truman keeps improving every week. Is there a better 19-year-old playing in Super League?
It's an interesting question. One that the answer is pretty easy to say no, given how much he's played this year, how consistent he's been, and how well he filled in for Luke Gale. Now Luke Gale's back, he's still showing some flashes, he's still not exactly letting the game get away from him and be controlled by someone else, which is really impressive to see. I think he's doing a great job. Some of the other 19-year-olds around the league that we couldn't mention that might be in the conversation, one would be Jack Walker at the Leeds Rhinos. Obviously, and Cameron Smith as well at the Leeds Rhinos. I think he's a very, very good player in the pack there. Thankfully now they're not having to use him every week, which I think
he's been brought in as and when now, rather than, I do think, like with Jack, we sort of overplayed him at the start. We sort of, and when we do that with a lot of the kids, we overplay them straight away, and then they don't do very well, and then we just drop them. So maybe that will change now that there's a more synergistic approach with the academy with Burrow coming in.
Yep. What another player I would call out is Wardle, Jake Wardle at Huddersfield. I know he's not played as many times as Truman, but I would say he's certainly in the calibre category alongside Truman, in my opinion, from the limited amount I've seen of him so far. I'm really impressed, and I know the Huddersfield fans are really impressed, and there's a few Huddersfield fans out there that I really respect their opinion of who are telling me this. And from a Wigan perspective, Oliver Partington started to show some signs in the last month or so. That's another 19-year-old, but I'd put Truman at the top of that list for certain.
Because it's about consistency for the season.
Yeah, but that's a few 19-year-olds
Yeah.
to just to throw out there. And I did that without any fucking list on. Thank you very much.
It's your turn.
That boy Rob said, a much improved performance from FC, but they were still dog shit and nowhere near the standard of the, in brackets, still champions. 3 well-worked tries in the first half, followed by... followed by the world-class Eden and one of Super League's second best winger Claire early in the second half meant Cass could take their foot off the gas for the last 20 and Radford could laugh in his post-match interview. Nothing to report on the M62. I've got something to report. First time I managed to travel to Leeds in about 5 years, not going for any 50-mile-an-hour zones.
Yes,
this weekend.
Coming here, there was no 50-an-hour.
We both enjoyed that for our first times. Okay, in terms of the game, the McMeekan try, I would say, wasn't lucky. A whole defender got his foot to it, and that, if I'm remembering the try right, and that means that it was just a well-placed kick that was slightly out of reach for the whole defender to do his job properly on it. The Greg Eden one was the one where it came off the head of Michael Shenton. So I would say it's not a great pass if it's hitting the defender's head. But obviously it wasn't deliberately headed by Shenton, so it was perfectly legitimate to play on and have that try. But there was an element of luck that it landed so perfectly to the fastest player on the pitch, and who is in great form at the moment is Greg Eden. He's really tearing things up there. Really, the story around this isn't so much Castleford, because their games that matter are going to be played in a few weeks' time. I feel it's Hull and where they've been and where they're trying to get to. And what do you think?
After last week's comments with the chairman going, I don't care if you've got a contract, I'm going to rip it up. You know, that has got to be a lot of that's got to be bluster, because I don't think you've got that much money to pay them off. But that's certainly got to be worrying signs for players. Like, it could happen to one. So they've definitely upped the game. But like, what have they got to play for now?
Well, that's it. That's why they're trying to give them something to play for, isn't it? And the players who've already signed the contracts for next year genuinely have nothing to play for.
Yeah. So
they've maybe think, shit, we've given those deals away too easy. We've got to sell season tickets. You can't sell season tickets off the back of 72-0 and 80-0. 72-10, sorry, and 80-10, can you? There was more spirit, though, in this game from them. There was a lot more fight. There was a few players who I'd really ripped into a bit the week before, who showed up a lot better in this game and will pop up in the stats roundup. So credit to them for that, and they only just lost the second half by 2 points, and that's because they don't really have a goal kicker. Hakim Maludi is always entertaining. His sort of effort where he had to kick it on a few times, and that was really enjoyable to watch. He's not a half-back, so they were a bit hamstrung there. I think Liam Harris went off injured as well at some point. He must have done, because I'm sure Danny Washbrook ended up playing in the halves and stuff. But it was good to see Jez Litton get a go for them as well. They've got some talented kids. Cameron Scott's another one of the 19-year-olds in the league. In fact, he might even be 18. And I think there's promise in that young kid. There's a lot of work to do, but there's promise there. So I think for Hull FC fans, it's a better feeling than last week. For Castleford fans, it's just keeping this pressure up on Wigan and keeping this going until
they can't get complacent, because what happened last year, Rob, when you got complacent?
I don't think they got complacent.
Yeah,
they got all snorty.
Yeah.
But the one last thing I was going to touch on is this talk about the Liam Watts try that was given, and Gareth Hewer sending it up as a try. Now, I've got no problem if he'd have sent it up as a no try.
Remind me this one again.
This was where Liam Watts played the ball right on the goal line. Paul McShane put a kick through. The kick ricocheted, and Liam Watts put it down.
Wasn't he deemed as offside?
Yes, but the referee sent it up as a try to the video ref. Inexplicably. But what the only mitigation for sending it up to the video referee I would think of is the defensive line was probably offside, so the touch judges probably couldn't see if it got behind the kicker or not from their angle. And it all happened fastish, close-ish, so worth checking. But in his head, he surely must have thought it starts as a no try, given that the bloke who played the ball scored the try, and the bloke who kicked it wheeled away backwards. He should have at least been able to react to that part correctly. I just think that was if it had gone up no try, I would have said, oh well, he's just checking and a bit annoying, what's the point at this stage of the game, that sort of stuff. But going up as a try is a mistake, And I'm not one for bagging referees, saying that referees decide outcomes of games. I certainly don't believe that that's the case. But when referees make mistakes, there's no harm in saying that, so they can learn from them, as long as you do it in a respectful manner.
But did he make a mistake because from his point of view, he thought it was a try, but he's sending it up as what I think it's a try, and the system worked. Because the video ref looked at it and went, actually, that's not a try.
The system worked, but if there was no video referee there, a very clear no try would have been given as a try. I can't... It's the thought process that I'd question, not the... So in terms of the... what's the word I'm looking for? Integrity of the referees and that sort of stuff, no questions over it from my point of view, ever, really. In terms of the decision-making processes, I think this one calls Gareth Hughes' decision-making processes into question, and I think it's one that he'll get evaluated through this next spell, and that's what I hope the process happens on these sorts of things. But it's because it was pulled out in the reviews, I thought it was worth dwelling on slightly. Do you want to do this? Shall we do the stats then? I'll read them out.
Do you want me to? Oh no, you can reread them out.
Well, you might not know some of my acronyms and stuff.
Well, let's see how I go. Cass were able to take the win despite a 12-13 penalty count against them and a 2.6
12-3.
12-3, whatever. Tackle team success.
It's not easy reading stuff out loud because it seems, is it?
OSC had the same amount of breaks as Cass, but Cass had 5 tries to 2 off the back of 288 more metres than Hull at 2.1 metres per carry. How's that for an acronym? Better average gain.
There you go, yeah. Well, my printer at work's had a bit of a funny do here. I've got extra pages all over the show. Okay, individually, Greg Eden, 2 tries, 181 metres. Joe Wardle, 156 metres. Peter Matautia, who was quite heavily involved, particularly in the first half or so with this one. Try assist, 8 tackles, 158 metres, 2 clean breaks, 4 successful offloads. And Paul McShane, who, yes, rightly is in that conversation for Man of Steel. 1 try assist, 44 tackles, doing it both ways as he has done all year. In terms of the losing FC side, Hakim Maludi, 1 try, 149 metres. Carlos Tuimavave, 1 try, 6 tackles, 144 metres, 3 successful offloads. He was one of the players I called out a bit last week. He showed a bit more enthusiasm this week. Someone who never lacks for enthusiasm is Danny Houghton, 60 tackles, 13 of which were marker tackles. And Jamie Shaw, 1 try assist, 9 tackle bus, 127 metres, who's another player who's been a bit down on form lately, showing some flashes there. Yeah, we just mentioned Paul McShane in the Man of Steel conversation. Do you have who's your front runners in that conversation?
Leeds out there, so I don't give a shit. There's no Leeds players got a chance.
I just thought you'd say that, so I thought I'd throw it out there for you before we move swiftly.
You've got to think that Barber's out of it now. Because it's voted for by other players, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You've got to think that
that's a part of the voting.
There's a journalist as well and stuff like that, but. But then again, you've got players who voted for Bo Falloon. Which is what I do every year. I would do some I would do someone who's like this year.
You're doing the thing. That's the problem. We're causing our sport to be a joke of itself when the players don't take the sport,
one person
the most prestigious
thing
in the sport seriously. No, look at the Catalan votes every year. It's like any French person who plays for anyone else, vote for them.
Well, it's like Eurovision, mate. If you give the public, a vote, they're not going to get onto this now. But if you give the public a vote, they'll make the wrong choice.
Oh no, I want you to get onto Eurovision. This sounds like a Dom rant in the offing.
It wasn't a Dom rant. We're gonna talk.
Okay. Let's move on then from dicey ground to Warrington versus Huddersfield. It finished 26-24. It could have been different. It was 14-12 to the visiting Giants at half time. 9,076 were on for this one. James Child was the referee. We only had one fan reviewing.
And that's from Rob. Shocking ref, and Danny Brough needs to learn how to kick. Now, this was coming up during the coverage of the Wigan match on the and it looked like Huddersfield were winning for most of the match.
Yeah. It turned around early in the second half. They were leading throughout the first half. Mike Cooper got sin-binned early on. I think he's facing a game ban for that, for rearranging Adam O'Brien's face. So, in that period, Jake Mamo did grab a try to give Huddersfield the lead, the first of his hat-trick, actually. I didn't think it looked like a try on the replay I saw. It looked a bit dicey. But he was deputising for Jermaine McGilvray. But actually, at the end of that period, the Wire had managed to take the lead. So, but by half-time, like we talked about,